Well, hi everyone. My name's Bob with Bob and Dang's Journey. Welcome to our channel. Today I'm going to walk you through a little do-it-yourself project for the Blackstone. As you probably know, griddles should be perfectly level in order to deliver their optimal cooking performance. So I purchased some leveling feet for our Blackstone that will let me get it level in just about any position. There's just one problem. The attachment point where the feet attach to the griddle have broken off of the Blackstone. Let me show you. There's a nut that's spot welded to the base of the Blackstone, and this is what the leg screws into. In our case, however, that spot weld has failed, and this leads to this problem. The leg just flops around here. So we're going to fix that in this video. So this is the nut that has failed. The spot welding has failed for this. You can see it's supposed to be attached down here like this, but it just broke off. The parts required for this modification are quite simple. You can probably find most of this stuff at your local hardware store, but I'm going to drop some links into Amazon of things that I used, just in case it's more convenient for you. You just need some basic tools to do this job. Probably most of this stuff you've got lying around the house. The only thing that might be unique is the tap and die set there. And also I'm going to be using a drill press to drill the holes with. It makes it a little bit easier. You can probably do it by hand, but a drill press is what I have, so I'm going to use it. All right, well, I've marked this at 2 inches, which is about the right length for these. And I'm just going to hack it straight off here. So yeah, if you have an angle grinder or something, it's probably going to be a lot easier to do. But this doesn't take long, depending on the hardness of the steel. All right, so now that we've got our metal cut here, we're going to hold it up to the existing hole here in approximately the location that we want it to be. So get that hole kind of in the middle of it, but you got to watch for the rivets out here. I don't want it to protrude over the top. So we're just going to hold it there, and then I've got my little Sharpie here. We're going to go on the inside, and we are going to mark a mark the circle where that hole is. So you can see now on this side here that we have our guideline for where we want to drill. We're going to go drill a hole. All right, so drilling these holes pretty straightforward. They don't have to be super accurate, just try to get it somewhere within the hole there. Now we're going to tap this out. So we're using an M8 by 1.25. That is the same size that the Blackstone originally had. So, and this is always, I don't do this a lot, so it's a little bit cumbersome for me, but just try to keep this straight. So now we're going to attach this, or just screw this in just a little bit so we can see where we want to drill the holes for the attachment screws. We're going to put 2 screws, one on each side, that run up through here. So let's take a look at that. We'll bring a leg through, and then we're going to put this on, not very far, just a couple of threads, so we can kind of hold it up here and get a sense for where it's going to be. Get that kind of centered in that hole. And now we will go ahead and use our Sharpie just to kind of approximate where we're going to want to put those attachment holes. And this doesn't need to be perfect here. You just want to make sure you got enough clearance around the outside of the drill, of the tapped hole there. So something like that will be fine. So just for good practice, and not totally necessary here, but if you've got a punch, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and put a couple of punches on here for this little drill bit so it doesn't wander around too much. So we're going to drill the through holes now. And this is a bit smaller bit, so I like to be gentle with it, especially with this hard steel. I'm drilling this for number 10 screws, so that's what I've got to attach it with. They'll be plenty strong enough. Okay, so now we're going to use our new bracket here, and we're going to use that as a guide for where we're going to drill the holes on the Blackstone. So we're just going to, I threaded the leg in inside out just a little bit so I can kind of pull it tight against that, and then we're going to use this as our guide. I think that looks like it's about right. And so now, so I can line up with the other one, I'm going to put another screw through there and a nut in order to lock that in so I can get the other hole drilled and not worry about it creeping around. So now I've got this screwed in on the other side here, and I'm just going to use this now to drill the other hole, so I'm sure that they'll fit in just fine. Now we're just going to do a quick test fit on this and see that that this is working. I'm going to take the leg out of it that's screwed in from the inside, and now we will put a screw into our newly drilled hole. That's a good sign. They seem to fit. And we'll put a little nut on the back. I'm not bothering with the lock nuts right now because this is just temporary, but this will give you an idea of how this is going to all come together here. So this is super solid. So now we're just doing a test fit here to see how this is going to work. This is going to be just fine, but that's done. And now what we're going to do is make 4 more just like this, or I should say 3 more just like this, so we have 4 of them. We're not going to show you that process. They're all made basically the same way. All right, well, that was a pretty quick project. It didn't take a whole lot of work. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Let's take a look. You've got basically these strong 1/4-inch steel straps that have been tapped at each corner, and you have limitless leveling capability here. These can come out quite a ways, and the feet on these can adapt to an uneven terrain as well. So I'm real happy with this. I think this is going to do it for us. One thing I probably will do is I'll pull these off of here, and I'll hit them up with some spray paint just to paint them so they don't corrode or anything like that in the future. That's of course optional, but I think that this is going to conclude this video. Thanks for coming along with us.